Welcome to Hot Topics for Women Over 40. Hot flashes, deep experience, zero tolerance for BS. This is poised, powerful, and occasionally overheated menopause at work. And I'm sharing advice to help women lead and succeed in midlife. You didn't come this far to bow out early, and menopause doesn't get to change that. I'm Becca Borden, and I'm sharing science-backed preventive measures, as well as real-world behavioral tips from experienced women on how to deal with common menopause symptoms in the workplace. Let's get started. So we've talked about this before. Menopause transition begins in our late 30s or early 40s, when estrogen levels start a downward march. And because it's not a steady march, fluctuations occur and cause various symptoms, just as they did when estrogen was ramping up during puberty. Unfortunately, none of this is straightforward. Symptoms can change throughout perimenopause, and some will continue for years beyond when menopause is reached. Some will seem truly bizarre. So here's a very long list of the more common symptoms. Most women experience only a subset, so don't panic. Some will experience no symptoms at all. And of course, only a few are disruptive or will show up at work. I'm focusing on the top 4 that were reported by the experienced women that I interviewed. Those include hot flushes, mood swings, brain fog, and fatigue. But let's start with an ounce of prevention. Science offers us some great preventive measures that work across symptoms using self-care, nutrition, and exercise. Let's start at the foundation. One of the most impactful things you can do to prevent menopause symptoms is to get a good night's rest. We've all felt the aftermath of a poor night's sleep on our work the next day, as well as the benefits of a good one. Chronic stress can also exacerbate other menopause symptoms, so managing stress levels, using things like breathing techniques, mindfulness, or exercise, is also an important preventive measure. For nutrition, eating phytoestrogens, or foods that act like estrogen in the body, can help balance your hormones. And then ensuring sufficient hydration will help you regulate your body temperature while minimizing some other symptoms, or providing an excuse to step away from a conversation. Strength training helps minimize hot flushes and regulate overall mood, along with regular movement, which helps your brain manage emerging emotions and fatigue. All of these behaviors work together to set you up for a better day, and when you combine them with things like menopause hormone therapy and to a lesser extent supplements, your risk of menopause symptoms flaring up at work is much lower. Now let's talk about what you can do when life happens and menopause symptoms do surface at work. We're going to start with the most obvious, not necessarily the most common. You're sitting relatively still and suddenly you feel like you're heating up from the inside out. What can you do? Keep your water bottle filled with ice water and take a few sips or gulps at the first sign of heat. This will cool your body down rapidly. You can also remove a layer of clothing if your outfit permits, and you might want to plan accordingly. Keep a small fan at your desk to maintain a cooler temperature, and if hot flushes are a common occurrence for you, choose a workspace that either matches your temperature needs, so maybe right under the AC vent or in front of a window, or allows you to adjust your temperature as needed, which might require a request for remote work. The next symptom, mood swings, can take a bit longer to recognize, even in yourself. We're talking about increased anxiety like the fight or flight system being triggered, or feeling more intense emotion than the situation calls for. It can show up as anger, irritability, frustration, or sadness. Bottom line, you don't feel like yourself, and you may struggle to find an explanation for how you feel. So if you're walking into a situation that you know could be emotional, go for a walk outside. You can also practice some somatic movements like finger tapping, either in preparation for an emotional event or during a flare-up. Don't be afraid to step away from a situation and get control of your emotions. Make a joke or hit pause and delay the discussion so that you can take a few minutes to get into your physical body and out of your head before the amygdala jumps in. Prepare some one-liners and excuses in advance, then practice in less stressful situations like with family and friends. Fluctuating estrogen levels can also cause forgetfulness, short-term memory loss, or trouble concentrating, collectively referred to as brain fog. While we often attribute these issues to aging, that's only a small part of the explanation. Studies show a drop in brain energy levels during the menopause transition. However, this is temporary. Energy levels return to normal or improve after menopause. Quick side note, while you may be noticing changes in your memory or concentration, studies show that you're still operating at a level that is equal to or better than men's. So don't get too worried about it. While preventive behaviors can help, stress and other factors may still put you in situations where you experience brain fog. There is no better time to embrace tried and true tips for staying focused. Start with no multitasking. This was the strongest and most common advice from experienced women. Then get organized, taking advantage of apps and tools like to-do lists and calendars. Prioritize your tasks for the day and tackle them one at a time. Limit the clutter on your desk or your computer screen. How many browser windows are open right now? Minimize distractions in your environment for better focus, using headphones, visual barriers, and turning off unnecessary notifications like the ringer on your phone or messaging apps on your computer, depending on what your work is like. Set boundaries for yourself and communicate with relevant coworkers. For example, let them know that a closed door or headphones means no interruptions. Last, whether you are tired from a lack of sleep or suffering from the deeply crushing fatigue that's directly associated with menopause, the key to thriving at work is staying alert without impacting your ability to sleep later, and good planning and organization. Schedule tasks so that those that require the greatest focus or creativity occur in the morning when you're going to be most alert. Then, to ensure that your environment maximizes alertness, mimic natural daylight with cool white or blue enriched LEDs, and use bright indirect lighting combined with focused task lighting for your workspace. Temperature can also make a difference. Science says the ideal temperature for alertness is 70 to 74 degrees, while the experienced women I spoke to said that may be a little warm for menopause. Consuming nuts, whole grains, and fatty fish can also help improve alertness, along with coffee and green tea. The overall message from experienced women is whatever symptoms you experience, use your sense of humor or prepared one-liners, and don't make a big deal of it when something happens. Acknowledge it and move on. You want people to remember what you're saying, not that you overheated or that you forgot a word. And most will not recognize your symptoms as menopause or think much about it. These experiences can be stressful for you, especially at first. So take care of yourself. Find a personal coach, therapist, or mentor. There are more resources out there than you realize, and awareness is growing. Now, we focused on the 4 most commonly mentioned symptoms impacting work, but that was a long list I showed you earlier. So if you're struggling with how to handle a different symptom, mention it in the comments and I'll try to provide some solutions for you. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll tune in for more hot topics for women over 40.